All right, thanks, guys. Got a great show for you here today. We're currently 7-2 in our last 9 board member package plays on patreon.com/BrockPage. We're also hitting at 75% in our last 9 NBA package plays on that website as well. Link for that site is in the description section below. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, guys, we got a great show for you here today. Pretty good NBA action for tonight's Tuesday slate, so let's go ahead and get into it, beginning with the OKC Thunder taking on the Pacers, and that's going to be a 7 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Indiana. The Pacers are -3, totals 212.5. We saw a half a point fade of Indiana and movement upward on the total. As a matter of fact, it was a 3-point move upward on that total. So once again, the Pacers open 3.5. Down to -3, total open 209.5, up to 212 and a hook. 63% of the consensus are leaning toward Indiana, 75% shaded toward the over. Right now, OKC is +130 on the money line. Now, Steven Adams is listed as questionable for OKC. They're also just 4-6 straight up overall for the year. They're tied for 4th place in the Northwest Division. They're 0-3 straight up away from home, 1-5 straight up as the underdog, and they rank in the bottom 10 in defensive field goal percentage on the road. Now the Pacers on the other side, winners in 6 out of their last 7. They've also successfully covered the number in 6 out of those 7 games. They're in 2nd place in the Central Division, just 1 game back of 1st place in that division. They're 4-1 against the spread at home. Malcolm Brogdon is averaging 21 points a game, 5 rebounds, 9 assists. Domantas Sabonis, 20 points a game, 13 rebounds, 4 assists for him. And Miles Turner is averaging 15 points a game, 7 rebounds. Keep an eye on Turner as he is listed as questionable. Now the Pacers rank in the top 5 in field goal percentage, top 10 in points allowed at home. And when it comes to the total, Indiana's 4-0 to the over in their last 4. They're also 60% to the over at the Bankers Life Fieldhouse. OKC on the other side, 3-0 to the over in their last trio of ball games. I'm going to lean toward the home favorite in this one. Give me the Pacers -3 and the over 212.5 in that game. Next matchup, it is going to be Cavaliers 76ers, 7 o'clock South Philly. Philadelphia is -11.5, total 214 and a hook. We saw a 1-point fade of Philly and movement downward on the total. The Sixers open 12.5 down to -11.5. Total open 215 down to 214 and a hook. The Sixers have lost 3 out of their last 4. They're also just 3-4 against the spread in their last 7. Al Horford is out tonight. Load management night for him. Ben Simmons is listed as questionable. He's been really battling a shoulder injury as of late. Now Philly's in the bottom 10 in defensive field goal percentage. Bottom 3 in defensive 3-point percentage. One more thing to add about Philly. They rank in the bottom 10 in offensive 3-point percentage at home. Now, the Cavaliers on the other side, very good against the spread for their backers. They're 7-2 against the spread overall for the year. They successfully covered the number in 5 out of their last 6 as well. They rank in the top 5 in offensive rebounding on the road, top 3 in points allowed on the road. Colin Sexton is averaging 19 points a game. Kevin Love is averaging 18 points a game, 13 rebounds. And Tristan Thompson is averaging 16 points a game, 11 boards for him. Cleveland ranks in the top 10 in road defensive field goal percentage. They're also in the top 10 in road defensive 3-point percentage. When it comes to this total, Cleveland's 4-1 to the under on the road. Philly 2-1 to the under at home. I'm going to purchase the half a point, buy it up, and take the Cavaliers +12 and the under 214.5 in that game. And before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the show. Got some lines and Purslines out for Tuesday's NBA action. But before we dive into some more of that, I just want to quickly remind you once again to check me out on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where we are 7-2 in our last 9 board member package plays on that website. We're also hitting at 75% in our last 9 NBA package plays as well. We have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to, beginning at just $1.99 per month. Now, what a lot of people ask me is, Brock, what's the difference between your YouTube plays and your Patreon plays? Well, what we do here on YouTube is we handicap every single game on the slate both the side and the total. Well, if you do that in real life and you actually bet every single game, both the side and the total, you will lose in the long run. You cannot beat the math. The bookies are too good. So what we do on Patreon is we really narrow it down and focus on 3 to 4 premium selections per day. They are games that I personally have action on, and I'll tell you this much, my record on Patreon is a lot better than it is on YouTube. So you can actually check out that record for free right on the homepage. All you got to do is click the link in the description section below. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, guys, we're going to dive into some more lines of personal leans right here on YouTube. So let's go ahead and get into that. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got the Pistons taking on the Heat. And that is going to be a 7:30 Eastern tip-off. This game's currently off the board. No line for this game. Reggie Jackson is listed as out with a back injury for the Pistons. Detroit just 2-5 straight up in their last 7. They're just 4-7 straight up overall for the year. 4th place in the Central Division. They've also failed to cover in 7 out of their 11 games for the year. They're just 1-4 against the spread on the road. Bottom 5 in offensive rebounding. Bottom 5 in defensive field goal percentage. Now the Heat on the other side, winners in 4 out of their last 6. They're also 6-3 straight up overall for the year. 7-2 against the spread in those 9 games. They're perfect 3-0 against the spread at home, and they rank in the top 5 in three-point percentage. Jimmy Butler, averaging 19 points a game, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Goran Dragic, 17 points a game, 4 rebounds, 5 assists for him. Total-wise, Detroit is 80% to the over when traveling. So we don't have a line for this game, but I'll be very inclined to lean Miami against the spread and the over in that game. All right, next matchup, it is going to be Knicks, Bulls, 8 o'clock Chicago. The Bulls are minus 5.5, total 213. A lot of movement in this one, guys. Movement on both the side and the total. We saw a 1-point fade of Chicago and a 3-point move downward on the total. Chicago opened 6.5, down to minus 5.5. Total opened 216, down to 213. 62% are leaning Bulls, 59% shaded toward the under. Right now, the Knicks are plus 190 on the money line. Now, New York has failed to win in 5 out of their last 6 games. They're just 2-8 straight up overall for the season. They failed to cover in 3 out of their last 4 games, and they're just 1-5 straight up on the road this year. The Knicks rank in the bottom 3 in scoring, bottom 3 in offensive field goal percentage. They're also in the bottom 10 in defensive three-point percentage on the road. The Bulls, on the other side, successfully covered the number in 3 out of their last 5. They're led by Zach LaVine, who's averaging 20 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Carter's got 10 rebounds and 13 points a game for himself, and Lauri Markkanen, 15.7 rebounds for the big guy. Now, total-wise, Chicago 3-1 to the under in their last 4, 5-4 to the under overall for the year. New York, on the other side, 8-1 to the under in their last 9. They're also 67% to the under when traveling. I'm going to purchase the half a point, slide it down, and take the Bulls minus 5 and the under 213 in that game. Next matchup. Hawks, Nuggets, 9 o'clock Denver. Once again, this is another game that is currently off the board. John Collins still out serving that suspension for the Hawks. Atlanta's just 3-6 straight up overall for the year, 1-6 straight up in their last 7. They rank in the bottom 10 in scoring, bottom 3 in offensive three-point percentage. Meanwhile, the Nuggets on the other side, 7-2 straight up overall for the year, 3-1 at home, first place in the Northwest Division. They rank in the top 5 in points allowed. They're led by Jamal Murray, who's averaging 19 points a game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. And Nikolai Jokic, the Joker, 17 points a game, 9 rebounds, 6 assists for him on average. I'm going to lean Denver winning this one outright for some money line cash. All right, next matchup, it is going to be Lakers, Suns. 9 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Phoenix. Once again, we have another game that is currently off the board. No line currently posted for this game. Now, DeAndre Ayton is serving that 25-game suspension, so he's out for the Suns tonight. Phoenix also ranks in the bottom 10 in offensive rebounding, and they've dropped 7 out of their last 10 head-to-head matchups with the Lakers. Now, Los Angeles, on the other side, they rank in the top 5 in offensive field goal percentage on the road. They're in the top 3 in points allowed, top 3 in defensive field goal percentage. They're led by Anthony Davis, who's averaging 27 a game, 10 rebounds. He is listed as probable with a shoulder injury tonight, so it looks like he should play. Maybe see some limited action, but he is listed as probable as he's been battling a shoulder injury. Now, LeBron James, 25 points a game, 8 rebounds, 11 assists for him. Pretty sure he'll end up averaging a triple-double by the second half of the year. Now, the Lakers are 3-1 straight up away from home this year, 7-2 straight up as the favorite. I'm going to lean toward the Lakers winning that one outright for some money line cash. Next game, Nets, Jazz, 9 o'clock Utah. The Jazz are minus 6.5 at home, total 217. We saw a 1-point move toward Utah, movement downward on the total. The Jazz opened 5.5 up to 6.5, total open 219 down to 217. 75% are leaning Utah, 79% shaded toward the over. Right now the Nets are plus 220 on the money line. Brooklyn's just 4-5 straight up overall for the year, 3-6 against the spread in those 9 games. They're in 4th place in the Atlantic Division, 4 games back of first place in that division. They've also failed to cover in 3 out of their last 4 away from home. Karis LeVert is out with a thumb. This guy just can't stay healthy, poor guy. Kevin Durant obviously out indefinitely with an Achilles injury. Brooklyn ranks in the bottom 10 in free throw percentage, bottom 3 in points allowed, bottom 5 in defensive three-point percentage as well. Now the Jazz are 7-3 straight up overall for the year, just a half game back for first place in the Northwest Division. They're undefeated at home this year, 5-0 straight up at home, 2-0 against the spread in their last couple of games. Donovan Mitchell averaging 25 a game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Bojan Bogdanovic, 21 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4 bogey. And then Rudy Gobert, he's averaging 13 rebounds a game and 12 points. The Jazz rank in the top 3 in points allowed, top 3 in defensive field goal percentage, top 5 in defensive rebounding. Now, total-wise, Utah's 2-1 to the over in their last trio of ball games. Brooklyn 4-3 to the over in their last 7. I'm going to purchase the half a point, slide it down, and take Utah minus 6 and the over 217 in that game. And we're going to slide into our next and final matchup for the show. It is going to be Blazers, Kings, 10 o'clock Sacramento. The Kings are minus 1.5 at home, total 227. Now, we saw movement on both the side and the total in this one. And as a matter of fact, we got ourselves a flip of the lines with regard to the spread. Sacramento open plus 2, now minus 1.5. Total open 228, down to 227. 73% are leaning Portland, 90% shaded toward the under. Right now, the Blazers are plus 105 on the money line. Portland 6-3 against the spread in their last 9. They're also 4-2 against the spread away from home. They're led by Damian Lillard, who's averaging 33 points a game, 5 rebounds, 7 assists. CJ McCollum's dropping 20 a game, and Hassan Whiteside is averaging double-digit rebounds. He's averaging 13 rebounds and 15 points a game. Portland ranks in the top 10 in scoring, top 5 in offensive rebounding, top 10 in road field goal percentage. Sacramento on the other side, just 3-6 straight up on the year, 4-5 against the spread. They are in 4th place in the Pacific Division, 4 games back of first, and they failed to cover in 3 out of their last 4 at home. Sacramento ranks in the bottom 10 in scoring, bottom 3 in offensive rebounding. When it comes to the total, Sacramento's 5-4 to the under overall for the year. Portland 2-1 to the under in their last 3. I'm going to purchase the half a point, buy it up, and take Portland plus 2 and the under 227 in that game. All right, let's go ahead and slide into our quick pick recap brought to you by patreon.com/Brock Page, where we are 7-2 in our last 9 board member package plays on that website. I like Portland plus 2 and the under 227. Lakers winning that one outright for some money line cash. Utah minus 6 over 217. Denver winning it outright for some money line cash. Bulls minus 5 under 213. Miami against the spread over the total. Indiana minus 3 over 212.5. And last but certainly not least, I like Cleveland plus 12 and the under 214.5 in that game. All right, let's go ahead and slide into our quick pick recap. Edición en Español. Portland con puntos y los bajos. Lakers ganar. Utah menos 6 y las altas. Denver ganar. Chicago menos 5 y los bajos. Miami con puntos y las altas. Indiana menos 3 y las altas. Y final, Cleveland con puntos y los bajos. All right, let's go ahead and dive into our quick pick recap. Our shout-outs, once again brought to you by patreon.com/Brock Page. Shout out to Josh Green, Jose Ramirez, Alec Harold, Derek Slappy, Mr. Bro, Pittsburgh Gentleman PA, Ariel Perez, IMDb Truth, Ronnie Christie, 201 Lifestyle, Joaquin Hamlin, Almighty Addo TV, Shotgun Shell 80, Drew Churchill, CQP Underboss, Vernon Williard, Janora Michael, Charlotte P., and last but certainly not least, shout out to Stephen Lewis. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage. We're 7-2 in our last 9 board member package plays. We're also hitting at 75% in our last 9 NBA package plays on that website. We do daily plays on that site beginning at just $1.99 per month. We have a bunch of different memberships, tiers, and packages that you can subscribe to. And a lot of folks will ask me, what's the difference between Patreon and YouTube? What we do here on YouTube is we handicap every single game on the board, both the side and the total. Well, if you were to bet that way in real life, you will 100% lose in the long run. The books are too good. The math is against you. So what we do on Patreon is we really narrow it down and focus on 4 to 5 premium selections per day. They're my personal plays. They're games that I personally have action on. And I'll tell you this much. My current record right on Patreon is a lot better than it is on YouTube, handicapping every single game. And if you want to check out my current record, you can do that right now. All you got to do is click the link in the description section below and access it for free right on the homepage. That is patreon.com/BrockPage. But most importantly, guys, I got to thank you for tuning in right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Tuesday to you. Best of luck to you. And don't forget to check me out on patreon.com/BrockPage.